you the topic of how to deal with defeat in tennis. I was reading an article from Kelsey Anderson's wife about this topic, and she was saying tennis players are a bunch of losers because almost every week when they play, they lose a match unless they win the tournament. So there's hardly any week in a tennis player's career where they don't lose. So what is good is if you understand how to deal with defeat. The article was very interesting because it talked about different stages, of defeat, if the stakes are high, or if, you really want to win, and so on. And then you have to deal differently with the defeat, right? It's quite psychologically. So I want to explore that topic a bit deeper with you today and understand how conditioned we are, and how we're conditioned to see that losing is something very, very bad. It's a huge conditioning, and I want to explore with you whether there's a possibility to see that losing is neither good nor bad, and what consequences that have if you can really understand that, not just in your mind but even in your body and when you're on the tennis court. So as I said, it's a strong conditioning. So when we're young, we are going to school or even in kindergarten, or when we go to tennis camps, it's always about winning. Tennis coaches, even if they're maybe not aware, or parents, they always reward good behavior, reward when they win, even on an emotional level, and give usually negative feedback to no feedback if their children lose, or the coach, and so on. And there's tournaments and everybody asks, how did you do it to win and not? So it's always about winning and losing in the mindset and also in body. So what does that do to our human body and mind? What it does is it puts a lot of pressure automatically, no matter what. I think the point is that people are able to deal differently with that pressure, but that pressure is there anyway. The system is built up and says losing is bad, winning is great. So what can you do in that case? Because what it does is, many children, although they may play tennis well, they lose motivation in tennis because they realize it's all about losing, winning, and then as soon as they realize they're not the best, or they don't want to handle all this pressure, they stop playing and so on. Even if there's good players, some of them, they have so much pressure, and then if they don't stop at 12, 14, maybe they stop at 16, 17, but they just cannot handle it. It's not fun anymore because the game turns into a losing, winning thing, and not anymore into enjoying the movements and enjoying the game as such, which is an amazing game, but you completely lose motivation to play it because it's all about winning and losing. So the question is, how can a tennis player, any child or any professional tennis player, focus in a way on the game itself, on the movements, on enjoying hitting the forehand, the backhand, the serve, playing matches, without any focus on losing or winning? And yes, I think there is a way, and it has to really start with the mind, and also it's so deeply in the body that we have to basically work on the body and the mind. So the first to understand is really to understand that this body condition and mind condition that we get when we are afraid of losing, or when we think about, I have to win or lose, it's so strongly embodied that we have to understand it's a conditioning. It's not a reality. The reality is not winning is great and losing is bad. If you start believing it, and that's what most of us do, and if you believe right now that losing is bad and winning is good, then maybe you haven't challenged your conclusion yet enough to see, hey, maybe that's not the case. Maybe that's just a conditioning or a belief that I have. And it's up to you, totally up to you, whether you want to keep that condition or that belief, or if you want to explore for yourself whether there's a possibility to be completely free of winning and losing. And then guess what? What usually happens to most of the players is that they become much better because they can play finally free of that fear of losing and winning and being judged for something that they actually not even are. So for me, that's one of the keys. And if you ask, for instance, Michael Jordan, he said, why were you so successful? He said, because I was losing more than everyone else. I took those shots at crunch time and I probably missed more than anyone else, but people remember me for the ones that I made in those moments. So if you're afraid of losing, you will never have the courage to go for the big shots or go for the big matches and so on, because you already stopped before. So what is good is to explore that conditioning, not be afraid of losing, not thinking of and not exaggerating emotions after winning something, but to really understand what it means winning and losing. And then the point is to be free of that. And only once we're free of that notion of winning and losing, and the winning part is as important, that you don't put it too high up, the meaning of winning. So once you understand and once you're free from your mind and the thinking, but also in your body, because your body memorizes everything that happens to it, if you're free of this notion of winning and losing, you finally can focus on what is really important, which is the moment. Focusing on the moment, the movements, play as well as you can, and you develop your tennis on the court in the moment, and you don't think about winning and losing. And what happens is, in that match, you don't become nervous anymore, because you're there to play your best tennis and you don't think about winning and losing. You don't think about what you cannot control anyway. You can control how well you play, how you prepare and everything, but you cannot control anyway whether you win or lose. So that way you'll be a free tennis player, you will enjoy the game, and that's the best what children can do. Or whether you're the number one in the world, if you are able to play freely out of all the things that are happening around you, especially the winning losing, you'll be a different tennis player and you enjoy the game so much more.